Alright, so pretty much just to prove a point, I built 60 card Formula Athlete Zoodiac. I think Zoodiac is still like lowish tier 2. Maybe high tier 3, kind of. But yeah, I mean Zoo is playable. Formula Athletes are not. Formula Athletes just are not. But Zoo, you can do things in, especially as an engine to assist another deck. Formula Athletes are not the greatest thing. I just pretty much, you saw it a little while ago, there's a card called Barbaros I can't Machine Beast King Barbaros it's special summoned by banishing a machine monster and a beast warrior, so a formula athlete or a gadget, and a Zoodiac pretty much, for this deck at least. But yeah, here what you're seeing is me basically being able to just throw a bunch of monsters on the field, and that's two of those are with Chaka9's effect, so so they would go back into the main monster zones because they're being special summoned from the graveyard, if were we to have links in here. The reason I didn't attack is because playing against Banishers, you don't want to just attack into, what is it called, Grand Maju. You don't want to attack into a Grand Maju while your opponent has a bunch of Banish cards, because you'll just die, because it'll have 11, 15,000 defense or some ridiculous number like that. I've lost to that, so there you go. In this case, it was just Needleworm. But yeah, anyway. So the Zoo still provide essentially the same thing they did before, where you can throw things on the field and you can use Barrage to have the comeback ability, where you can destroy your cards and special summon a level 4 from deck. And my opponent surrendered there. Obviously, Necroface wasn't going to be doing a whole lot of good. Stuff is against trains. Shuttle trains. So I just go ahead and use the terraforming and then Tenki. So if you don't know the Formula Athletes because they're super bad, the way they work is based on their level. Every time you activate a Formula Athlete spell card, they gain 1 level. Spell or trap, I think it says, but they gain 1 level. And if they are level 7 or higher, they get their effects. And they start at level 4, and there are only 2 of them, and they're once per turn, so that's pretty great. And there are only 2 Formula Athlete monsters as well, and only one of them, the one I'm playing, has an effect that matters in any kind of way. But yeah, so here again, just going Leica into HammerKong. After these replays, I'll go over some things I learned from playing this about current Zoo. And yes, that was a mistake. It's because the monster you summon off of Chaka9, or like whichever name, the monster you summon off of Chaka9, you can't put an Exceed material over it. So, there's kind of, who plays equip spells, am I right? Can I defend this decision in any kind of way? I don't know why my opponent made Gustav Max instead of the other one. Super Dreadnought Royal Cannon Gustav Max is a ton of fun to say though. Yeah, just make Ragnazero. Ragnazero is really, really strong in this because you can just make it. So, um, Definitely, I think Tensu, playing Tensu and Tenki with the Zoodiac is good because of the ability to, summon more monsters. That's basically what Zoodiac do right now. Is you can summon a bunch of things. You'll see in some of the other games, you can recurribly get a DD Warrior Lady. You can use Tiger Mortar to throw Thoroughblade under it. Um, had I had a second Leica in my extra deck during any of these replays, which I do now, that would have been really helpful, but I didn't. So I guess my opponent had been hit with a dimensional fissure recently, and they were just very wary of that or something. That's what it seemed like in the game, is that they're afraid of specifically dimensional fissure, which is weird. I haven't seen that card in forever. And then I realized, oh yeah, you can tribute for the kaijus, and just no one ever does. Um, and attacked after using Twin Twister. And I think this game I do a lot of stuff with Zoo. No, okay. I can't remember. I think I lose this game. Yeah. Um, I think this is a game I lost. Okay, so I do want to talk about this card, Marshalling Field. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and mouse over it. Marshalling Field. It's really bad. I only have one in my current build. What it does is basically if you have a couple FAs on the field or an FA and Tetherwolf on the field, you can declare level 5 through 9 and they become that level, as long as you've already also activated an FA spell card, which would have raised the level of the FA monster and your token's still on the field. Yeah, so I'm only playing one now. It lets you declare the level as level 9, which is really good because that means that the FAs will be level 9 and their attack points are 300 times their level. So yeah, here we go. I get the Tiger Mortar. What materials do I have under you? With Thoroughblade and Viper. And now here we go with the, I have Barrage to destroy the token, to get Viper, and then I can use Marshalling Field to do absolutely nothing and attack for game with Tigress at 4100. So yes, you can still just drop a Zoodiac Exceed at 4100 and attack with it. And you still have Viper, you still have Thoroughblade and all that, so here I'm playing against a really annoying Pendulum deck. That's Pendulum Fusions. I don't know how to enjoy playing this deck, but I don't know, probably if I did it, I would, so, to be fair. I tried to bait with the Tenki there, and I went, okay, well I have to use Kaiju then. So the thing about the FA cards is they do absolutely nothing if you don't also have an FA monster, and as I said, there's only one that's useful. So, I shouldn't have gone into Leica here. That was not intentional. But yeah, again, a 3200 monster that I can negate an effect that targets it. Unfortunately, Vortex Dragon can return a pendulum from the extra deck to negate. Still, though, doing that forces the return. So here I'm going to get Tigress, so I can use that effect to re-add Viper. Attack over with my Jizuku, and attack with 2800. That also has Piercing and Banish, so my opponent goes in Pendulums for 4, but it doesn't do a lot of good. Because they can go for Starving Venom, copy Borbo's effect, and be able to attack directly. Supreme King Starving Venom, different card. I just go ahead and normal summon, attack, attack, and attack. Like, that could have been another Thoroughblade, whatever. If it were pure Zoo. This might as well have been a pure Zoo during this game, because I didn't draw any FAs except for Downforce, which is completely useless. And here's a game that I lose. I know for sure I lose this game, but I do get over something that a lot of decks struggle with the zoo, so yeah, I just kind of put this card in because I thought it was fun. Uh, hello, hello. It's kind of like if you have this and an FA, it's kind of like an additional FA spell in a way. Just you can roll a die and hope you roll a 6 so that your Hang On Muck becomes at least level 6, and then maybe you can activate Grand Prix if you also have that. And I'm not playing it now, but I was like, hey, this is a cute card, so I'm gonna put it in. So yeah, there's Barrage. Go into Tiger King, get another Tenki to boost him up, and then I can negate and use the Vanish effect of Viper. Because the way they work is as long as the Exceed monster that's summoned, that it's material for, is originally a Beast Warrior, they still get the effect even if they're not Zoodiacs. So going into a Tiger King still works. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what my current build of this is. And yes, I built 60 card FA Zoo just for the heck of it. Um, Firefist Bear probably isn't very good. I'd probably take this out and put another target to be summoned by the gadgets. Maybe another Tether Wolf, I don't know. Just so that you can go into the regular rank 4 engine more efficiently. I wanted to be playing more high levels, but instead I ended up with 2 level 7s and a level 9. It's pretty much with the FAs that get that high pretty much because of marshalling field too. And at that point you can't summon Big Eye because it's not a machine, and VFD isn't a machine either. So you can summon like Dyson Sphere, right? Um, yeah, you can summon Dyson Sphere and Phantom Fortress, but I didn't have space for those because I did also have the Zoo in here, and that is a thing that to be conscious of deciding to play Zoo, is that they're going to take up a lot of space. Now, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things I did discover is that you play 2 Leica, um, just because if you only play 1, you have to be really conscious of when you use it, and Leica is pretty much, or Chakanine is pretty much the power card right now. It's Chakanine and Tigress, and you have Hammer Kong and Wild Bow pretty much as 2 additional names that you can throw under there and use as materials for these. Um, I would say if you're playing like pure Zoo or mixed Zoo with something else that would play it, Foolish Burial would be really good for the deck because a problem it has is not having targets for Tigress or Leica in the graveyard. So being able to foolish targets for that or get them in there by whatever other means would definitely be good. Maybe like Lightsworn or whatever. Huge strength the Zoo definitely still have. I mean, you can use the Tenkis you can get to get Vipers. Use Tenki to get Rapier. I mean, Rapier even at 1, you can use Rapier's effect to send a Zoodiac to grave, whether it be a Thoroughblade or Whiptail, whatever, to grave, and then you can go into these and you can attach it with Tigress so that you can get the first turn DD Warrior Lady right there. And then with the Leica, you get the additional summons, which lets you go into links, which is really good. The ability to actually summon things. Links, I think, would make this better just because you do have the Leica. And of course, Pure Zoo, I think I'd say play like 3 Tigress and 3 Leica. I know that sounds a little crazy, but if it's pure, then yeah, I mean, you're probably going to make them. There are capture missions in here because I was playing it at first. Just because of you know, if I put a kaiju on my opponent's field, I'll be able to flip it down. I'm playing FAs, so that can't always get over it. Um, anyway, yeah, so that's the main strength of it, is you can search, you can summon, you get level 4s all over the place, you can get more monsters for link summoning if you need to, as us showed with Tigress effect, with Tiger Mortar. You can attach the Zoodiacs from the graveyard, obviously, you can still do that. I'd probably take out the bear, put in maybe another Thoroughblade, just because Thoroughblade, if you draw it, or you can special summon it or normal summon it while you have another zoo in hand, then you can discard that zoo, draw a card, that puts a zoo in grave, as I said, solving the problem of not having a target engraved for Tiger Mortar or Chakanine. Borbo is also nice just because you can detach and then he can attack directly, and sometimes that can just help finish off games. So I feel like Zoo still have a good amount going for them. Um, I don't think they should be hit any more than they have, but I do feel like they still have a good amount going for them. Um, so yes, Zoo are still playable. Um, Meta-wise, I mean, with Barrage being such a good card, I mean, even like, let's say Gravekeepers, right? Even that, you have Recruiter, which is triggered by being sent to the graveyard, and you can use the Barrage, send the Recruiter off of it, summon a level 4, you've probably summoned the Recruiter off of Spy, so you then have 2 level 4s, and you can make them rank 4. I mean, or you can go into the zoos, but that's not great in this example because of Mega Rally. But but yeah, it just gives you another level 4 at the least. And it works with itself, puts itself under a Zoo Exceed as material too. So yeah, because we have Barrage, Zoo can still play. Um, it really sucks if you don't draw Barrage. And I would say play Tensu, because Tensu will give you that additional summon you might need. Um, and Creature Swap's not bad either, because you can throw the Zoo Exceeds out onto the field at 0. You can just detach their materials, make them 0, especially with Chakanine. That's definitely possible. And just creature swap them. So, yeah. And without Dryden, you don't have a fear of your opponent throwing a Dryden on top of it or anything. So I feel like Zoo are not nearly as strong, but still have a function in the game, um, and still should be considered. So the deck's not dead, it shouldn't be, and I like where it is. I just mixed it with Formula Athletes for some reason, that reason being Beast, Machine King, Barbaros, Anyways, that's all for now, so